Let's talk about the face of your business, your identity. Now, when I say face, I don't just mean your logo or your colors or that beautifully laid out Instagram grid. I mean how your business shows up in the world. Okay. See, your face, it tells a story before your mouth ever opens, right? How many of us are guilty of thinking of a thing and then it's all on our face and people can tell what we're thinking? My poker face is horrible. Okay. The same is true for your brand. The way your business looks, the way it feels, the way it speaks and carries itself is communicating something long before you pitch a product and long before you post a caption. All right. So the question today is simple. What story is your business telling when you're not saying a single word? What story is your business telling without saying a single word? And before we go deeper, for anyone that's new here, I'm Charita Raél, the Vizion Catalyst. I am a transformational business coach and ecosystem strategist, and I help entrepreneurs, executives, and creatives build better business culture by merging wellness, strategy, and spirit. Okay, I come from all of these worlds, corporate and transpersonal, and I've spent years studying indigenous traditions, spiritual systems and more importantly, well, not more importantly, the mechanics of business. I've woven it all into an ecosystem of holistic coaching that helps you scale without fragmentation and without burnout. So let's get into it, y'all, because once you understand the face of your business, you're going to stop treating it like a machine and start leading it like a living, breathing organism. All right, so let's get into it, okay? Every single business has a soul, and that soul expresses itself through identity. Now, just like people, businesses go through phases. All right, you ready? So phase one is the awkward phase. And this is when you're trying to figure out who you are. Okay. The second phase, rather, if it happens intentionally or unintentionally, the mimic phase. And this is when you kind of start to sound like everybody else in your industry, and we don't want that. And then there's a maturity phase where your message, your visuals, and your values finally sync up, okay? That's when your business starts attracting instead of chasing. Now, here's where a lot of people get stuck. When you over-identify with just one role, when you over-identify with I'm just the marketer, I'm just the creator, I'm just the strategist, you fragment your business energy. Okay, what do I mean by that? Means you're treating your business as only a single function instead of the complete organism that it is. Okay. You forget that your identity is not a department. Your identity is the essence of you and your business made visible. Okay. So your business identity, again, is more than just this marketing plan. It is your mission, your essence made visible. It's the face that people recognize. It's the face that people trust. And we definitely want it to be the face that people come back to. All right, so I want you to think about this. People don't buy necessarily what you sell. They buy what they see in you. They buy what they see in your brand. They buy what they experience from you and your brand and your business, right? Your identity lets them feel your value before they even understand your offer, okay? So in this new era of business where culture is definitely shifting and it is said attention spans are shrinking, and authenticity for sure. Authenticity is the new currency. I want you to think about your identity as the first handshake. All right. So if your business identity, if your business does not have a clear face, you'll keep doing the work of three people trying to convince instead of three people attracting. And which one do you think is going to lead to less burnout, right? And less fragmentation? Just going to let you think about that for a second. All right. So I don't want you to think about identity as being this thing all about vanity, how it looks, everything that's happening on the surface. Identity is pure strategy. Okay. It's the bridge between your purpose and your profit. It is a bridge because there's quite a few bridges between purpose and profit, but identity is pretty high on the list. Okay. And here's where the visionary archetypes come in. Your archetype reveals the soul DNA of your business. And the soul DNA, what is that, Sharita? I'm so glad you asked. Your soul DNA of your business is your why. The soul DNA of your business is your why. So it doesn't lock you into a box. It shows you how your essence moves through your work. So, for instance, you could be a healer and wellness visionary, but that doesn't necessarily mean you're a nutritionist. You could be in tech. You know why? Because you bring that essence to fixing systems, to improving the world of tech, right? That's what the healer wellness visionary archetype, that's the essence of that energy, of that profile, right? You can be a thought leader and an educator and not have a podcast. How about that? Right? Because again, we're dealing with the essence, not necessarily what you do, because the essence shows up in anything that you do, right? So again, you could be a healer and be in tech, a healer visionary archetype and be in tech, a thought leader educator archetype and be and not have a podcast, right? You could be a trailblazer entrepreneurial visionary and still serve inside of a corporation happily. So it's not about titles, it's simply about the truth, your truth. And here's another truth that many of us may not recognize or understand or don't have the capacity for. We are all multidimensional. Every single last one of us on this planet, we are multidimensional. Excuse me, let me say this correctly. You carry pieces of every archetype inside of you. You do. Every single archetype that exists, you carry pieces of that inside of you. But here's the key. You don't have to be everything at once. The goal isn't to do all the things, it's to become aware of all of the parts. I'm going to pause. You don't have to be everything. You don't have to do everything. Just be aware of all the parts. Just be aware of all the possibilities and capabilities. Because when you ignore certain parts of your creative identity, you limit your business capacity. When you ignore certain parts of your creative identity, you limit your business capacity. And on the flip side, when you try to be every part at the same time, you burn out. I'm going to say this again. When you try to be every part at the same time, you burn out. So again, it's not about doing all of the things. It's simply about becoming aware of all the parts. And just pause and think about how that translates into your business. You don't have to do all the things in your business. Just become aware of all the parts that have to get done, that have to be addressed, right? So again, this word integration, you will hear me say this a lot in a lot of teachings, a lot of workshops, and a lot of one-on-one or group experiences. And integration is about honoring the season that you're in, right? So again, you have all this information, all this wisdom, all this education, and integration says, because I'm in this season, I'm taking parts of all of this information that I have and applying it accordingly. So you, out of all this information that you have, if you're in the building season of your business, you're going to lean into this entrepreneurial trailblazer type archetype visionary that's within you, right? If you're teaching, you're going to lead through this thought leader, educator archetype that's in you. If you are nurturing your team, that is you embodying the wellness healer visionary archetype. Again, you have all the pieces, right? It's not about doing them all at once, just becoming aware of all the parts. And your identity expands as you do, but you stay whole when you stop pretending you're only one thing. I want to say this again. Your identity expands as you do. But again, you stay whole when you stop pretending you're only one thing. How many of us have been in a job or an environment where you did not feel like your potential, your skill set, your talents was being utilized properly. You were in this one role doing this one thing, and only one part of yourself was um, acknowledged. Only one part of yourself was able to show up and express. How did that make you feel? Right? I can speak for myself that I felt all the other parts of me feeling dishonored and unappreciated, and which then led to this feeling of overall being undervalued, right? So I want you to think about how that shows up for you in your business, okay? Because again, your business is not just one thing. Remember, you stay whole when you stop pretending you are only one thing. Your business stays whole when it stops pretending it's only one thing. All right, so now let's look at this wellness connection. In this visionary wellness framework, identity connects you, excuse me, in this framework, identity connects to the face of our body. So if we had to kind of not compare it, but utilize a system of understanding. I want us to think about our very own bodies, okay? So if your face represents the business identity, then your brand expression is like the skin, okay? And even when we think about health, the medical field, if we've done our research, those of us who've been in that world, the skin shows what's happening underneath. The skin shows what's happening within the body. All right. So again, brand expression is like your skin. It shows what's happening underneath. When your business identity feels inconsistent, when your business identity feels forced, when your business identity feels exhausted, it's usually because you've been wearing too many masks. And I can attest to that. If people look at my history and see, here's one thing about the Vision Catalyst. I will never sit up here and act like I have been perfect this whole time. I will never sit up here and act like I've just jumped into this business world doing everything right from the first time. People who have witnessed my journey has seen many iterations of different brands that I've had, right? And why was that? Because literally I was wearing too many masks. And also because I wasn't clear on who I was speaking to, I'm casting this wide net trying to please audiences that was never assigned to me. So let's focus this back on you, right? Again, if your identity feels inconsistent, forced, or exhausted, it's most likely because you've been wearing too many masks, trying to please audiences that were never assigned to you. But when you're clear, there's more authenticity, right, in your business identity. It's more aligned, it's more integrated. And because of that, it starts to glow, right? It's a beautiful skincare regimen, right? You can tell when a brand is radiant, you feel it. And it carries a peaceful confidence. You ever walked into a room or into an environment, or maybe at some point this was you, where you or that person or whatever was just loud and look at me, and made up and all the makeup or all the jewelry and all the fancy clothes and just loud and it's most likely because that person or you at the time was chasing attention, right? But when you are confident, there's no need for the loud and boisterous. There's a peaceful confidence, and you just start to attract naturally. People start to become drawn to you naturally. They start to wonder, right? They start to become intrigued, right? So again, you feel it when business is radiant. You feel it. People feel it when your brand is radiant. You feel it when someone else's brand is radiant. And again, that peaceful confidence, it doesn't have you out there chasing attention. It does not have your business coming across as it's chasing attention. It is simply attracting naturally, right? And just like your body needs nourishment to shine, your business needs truth to sustain it, right? Because when you're operating in authenticity, when you're operating in truth, there's no more mask, there's no more anything to keep up with, which can be draining in itself. You're just being. So I want us to get practical for a moment, and I call this the identity alignment check, okay? So I would like for you to reflect on these three questions or write them down. The first one is, what does my business look like visually and energetically? What does my business sound like? What is the tone? What is the voice? What is the message? And then what does my business stand for? What's its truth? What is the truth of your business? What values, what foundation is it standing on? Okay. And if those three answers don't tell the same story, you, my friend, have what we call an identity gap. But here's the good news. You can fix that with alignment, not overhaul, not overstressing, not overworking, right? And I don't want you to feel like, oh no, I have to rebrand. No, we're simply recalibrating. Just recalibrate, right? So bring your visuals, your message, and your mission back into harmony so that your business feels like itself again. It feels like you again, going back to that soul DNA. Remember that soul DNA of your business is your why. And your brand isn't just how the world sees you, it's also how you see yourself through the lens of its purpose. How do you see yourself through the lens of the purpose your business is here to serve? So here's my reflection for you. If your business could speak right now, what would it say it wants to be known for? That's your starting point for identity work if you haven't started already. And if you have, great. If you want to take a moment and reflect, because you may need to recalibrate, ask yourself that question. What would it want to be known for? And that's how we're going to start showing up in a way that feels alive, that feels aligned, and unforgettable. Okay, so this has been Wellness Wednesday, y'all, season two, Visionary Wellness. We're here learning to build better business culture by treating our companies like living, breathing organisms. If this message resonated with you, go ahead and reflect on that business body check-in worksheet that you should already have, rather in the link provided or in the portal that this class or video may be in. And I would like for you to revisit that worksheet and see how your identity area is doing right now. Okay. So remember, your business does have a heartbeat. Your brand is its face. And let's just make sure it's glowing with integrity, with value and truth. Okay, fam? Once again, this has been Charita Raél, the Vision Catalyst, where we lead authentically, we build sustainably, and work from wholeness, not hustle. I will see y'all next week. Peace, love, and prosperity.